Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. Nicholas Knockan, Duskwell himself here for episode 3 of Table Talk, where we talk about and showcase any tabletop games, whether they be RPG, strategy, board, card, and beyond. As per usual, apologies for poor mic quality for college students going poor. And this is going to be the second showcase and the first one for something very special. Now, before we get into this, I would love to apologize to everybody over the absolute lateness for this video. Like, no video last month. Halfway through this month, still no video. You guys just have no idea the stuff that has been going on. Like, this has to be like my 6th time recording this video. It's like, it's just every time I try to record this video, just something just has to happen to ruin everything. And whether it be the recording itself, like the software, or maybe the microphone, or maybe something else happens while I'm in the middle of recording and just botches the whole thing. It is, oh my god, it is such a pain. It is absolutely horrible. But hopefully this time around, I might be able to actually get it done this time around. But not only do I have to contend with that, but I still got my own tabletop games that I've been playing with friends, school stuff going on, studying for a lot of stuff, considering that finals are coming up, and been trying to get a job that's been eating up a lot of time. Working on my own comic book, a couple of them actually, so that ate up a lot of time. I've been all over the place. I've still been trying to keep active on social media so people know that I just didn't drop off the face of the earth, but that probably ate up more time than it should have. But just all in the past, water on the bridge, just so long as this goes out before the next video comes out, everything should be fine. So I definitely also want to apologize profusely for the lateness of this video to the subject of today, of last month's, or supposed to be last month's video. We'll be getting into them, and as soon as I just end this apology tour right here, right now, let's just get back into it. Now, I mentioned that this is going to be something, this is going to have some pretty special stuff to it. One of those being, again, the subject of this video, and the reason why they're special is that they have been quite busy when it comes to the tabletop world, because they have made numerous things to check out, and I will provide a link to all of their materials in the description below, as well as at the end of the video where I sound everything out. And and another thing as to why this is all going to be special is because this isn't a game that I'm covering. Oh, no. It's not a game. I'm covering additive rules to a pre-existing game. Now, the pre-existing game that we'll be added to is Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And there will be no disclaimers needed this time around, actually, as I haven't been provided any materials to actually cover. Everything I'm going off of is from previews that's available for the public just to check out. And I'm just making a video for people to be aware of this one specific thing that they've made to try and sell you on what they've made. And you can just go and see all the other stuff they got going on. In fact, I think they actually got a new thing going on now. I haven't looked into what it is. I just know that it's incredibly new. That it kind of shows you how out of date this video is. But now, before I get into the video itself, I would actually like to explain as to why I'm covering additive rules and not a game itself, and that's because I believe that additive rules are just as important of a topic to cover, despite not being games in themselves. And for a reason as to why I think that would be, A perfect example, I would think, is to think additive rules or even supplemental materials for a tabletop game in the aspect of a video game. For example, say what you will about Skyrim, but it would definitely not be anywhere near as good as anyone thinks it is right now without mods and mods that make your character walk around in a thong, or mods that add giant castles complete with NPC staff members that just do menial tasks, or even mods that add whole new zones to the game with its own lore and quests and characters and even monsters of their own. Additives and supplements kind of work in their own way. I mean, sure, there are some people who may play basic Dungeons and Dragons for years and still love the game to death, but at some point you might start seeing some homebrewing going on, and well, that's basically what additives and supplements are. They're just home brews that are widely available for the public to enjoy, and some even sell their home brews. And like mods, they can extend the life of a tabletop game by adding new rules, mechanics, stories, locations, or even changing stuff that's already present to fit the taste of certain niches. And who are the would-be tabletop modders this time around that I'd like to be covering? Well, that would be dungeon rollers. Now, they are interesting because they seem to be experienced in making many additive rules for Dungeons and Dragons. Some of their works include a rulebook adding in 40 plus items to the Underdark, which is like the world below the surface in Dungeons and Dragons, as well as hours upon hours of pre-made campaign stories and story hooks, new spells, and so much more. They're certainly an accomplished group, and as I said previously, I'll be putting a link in the description of this video as to where you can find their products, as well as be sounding them out at the end of the video. But we're not going to talk about the topics I previously mentioned as to what additive rules that's going to be covered in this game. Nah, we're going to be doing something cool, a lot cooler than what those other things have done. And what we're going to be looking at is their additive rules for adding in Ancestry weapons to Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Now, what are Ancestry weapons, you might ask? Well, I'm glad you asked, because it is very simple. Ancestry weapons are pretty much like separate characters in themselves, if you could bash enemies in the head with other characters. Now, this rulebook gives all sorts of rules and mechanics where you can create specialized and heavily customizable weapons for your character, as well as leveling up and upgrading those weapons. So, in essence, you are essentially treating these new weapons like a character in and of themselves. The level of customization you can go to for these weapons, as provided by the rulebook, is extensive and deep. It is to the point you can come up with a backstory for it, gain abilities that operate like feats that change how the weapon operates, and even give a personality for the weapon, something that the weapon does to the character or to the party for the adventure that only that weapon can do. There is even a list of feat-like ability attributes that you can apply onto your weapon, but you can only do so with acquiring these things called spirit points. Now, how do you gain spirit points? Well, in the rulebook, it says you can gain them by leveling up your own character, and as your character levels up, so too does the weapon that they use. However, spirit points can also be attained by performing deeds outside of leveling, up to the Dungeon Master's discretion, or Game Master's discretion, obviously. You can gain points by doing great things like achieving a milestone in your character's story, or defeating certain special creatures, or even do just other things, just something that's very significant to the story or the character. You can gain spirit points. That's essentially what it's all about. It's basically just a different method of experience points, but just for the level, just for the weapon itself. Now, the personality traits you can give the weapons are pretty great too, as they can give subtle effects that help enhance the story of the game that you're playing. And I mean, really, who doesn't want to add a personality to a weapon? It can make the weapon do something that your character and possibly others will notice. My personal favorite thus far is Soldier's Savior, where the bearer of the weapon always knows the location of the nearest source of alcohol. Dear Lord, that would help me on most of my days with Twitter and school. And that, yeah, there's not much I can really go over. That is pretty much all the material that I can talk about. And even if I did have all the materials, that's all I would be willing to talk about. It's just such a cool aspect to a game that I wish a lot more games would have. I love customizable weapons that changes with your character. I mean, it's sort of like, oh god, what is that travesty of a game? Fable 3? That sort of does like that, where you accomplish certain achievements that changes how your current weapon operates. It gives it like extra flair, a different design look, and have do different effects. Like maybe you do better outright damage, or convert that to like damage over time. It's all sorts of cool stuff. I just love being able to customize stuff. If a game has more customization to it, where I can make the game more akin to what I want my character to be like, I am all down for it, and that is essentially what Ancestry Weapons does. And I just would love to have this system in for whatever game that I want. And god damn, the dogs are barking. I have no idea if y'all be able to hear that, but I'm making this the last recording. I need this video out, so if y'all can hear the barking stays. You just can hear the sweet siren song of my doggos. Yeah, well, welcome to my life. That's what I've been having to deal with for a month and a half of me trying to record this video. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this trip into learning with me about Ancestry Weapons, and I hope you are as invested with Ancestry Weapons and Dungeon Rollers as I am yourselves. You all really need to give these guys a look into and see what they're about. They got so much stuff going on, and especially Ancestry Weapons, just more customization with very little effort to put it into. You could do this for your characters, like a heritage weapon from their family, or even as just a random artifact that party members just happen to find in a dungeon somewhere. There's just so much potential with this. I would love to be able to get my own copy and just see what shenanigans I can come up with. Oh man, it would be so great. Now, you can find Ancestry Weapons at dmsguild.com/product/267-877/ancestral weapons, and the entire Dungeon Rollers lineup just at dmsguild.com and just search for Dungeon Rollers. On there, you can find a free sample of Treasures of the Underdark, which makes the Underdark more filled out with items, as well as a free product called So a Blind Woman and a Medusa Walk Along the Road, which adds all sorts of new content, such as new story hooks, random tables to roll on, and encounters. And you got quite the selection of material to grab. And as always, you can find me on Twitter at Duskwill_team, and on Patreon over at patreon.com/Duskwill. I am now also at Subscribestar, and you can find that at subscribestar.com/Duskwill-team. I am also open to commissions for writing, which can include short stories, character backgrounds, script, editing, and so on. My PayPal is available to be seen on my Twitter. All prices negotiable. And hopefully for those my viewers that will be getting on BitChute, because I will be moving over to BitChute, things should be on time.